Hollywood's fixation on staying young has finally hit its limit, and this time, the pressure is not aimed at women alone. All over Los Angeles, men are running after the same unreachable standard through injections, fillers, and surgical lifts, all in an attempt to stay visible in an industry that treats aging like a crime. But behind every polished image lies something far more unsettling. Fame does not prevent getting older, it transforms it into anxiety. Today we are ranking 10 male stars whose physical changes crossed a line, and the top spot features a transformation so intense that even longtime supporters wondered if he was still who they thought he was. 10. Carrot Top Scott Thompson built his career on standing out. Widely recognized as Carrot Top, the prop comic with the bright red hair and speckled complexion became known for humor that was odd, playful, and unmistakably human. His appearance was part of the charm, silly and welcoming. Then the shift began. By the late 1990s, Carrot Top's face started altering in drastic ways. His freckles vanished. His skin turned unnaturally polished. His features took on a glossy, manufactured look. The changes quickly escalated. His eyebrows lifted to exaggerated heights, giving him a constant look of shock. His lips expanded. His cheeks became fuller. Even the contours of his face seemed completely reworked. Experts studying his evolution have pointed to several likely procedures, including strong doses of Botox, heavy filler use, or implanted cheeks, resurfacing lasers, chemical treatments, and possibly a lifted brow. The outcome was striking. Carrot Top began to resemble a human cartoon instead of a real person. His heavily muscled body only intensified this effect. The mix of extreme bodybuilding and a face reshaped beyond recognition created a look many found unsettling. Carrot Top insists he never had cosmetic surgery and claims his appearance comes down to makeup, but the visual evidence tells a different story. His makeover became so infamous that he is often referenced in professional case studies as an example of cosmetic work taken too far. The performer who once inspired laughter now leaves viewers uneasy. Carrot Top's transformation captured plenty of attention, but one man's $130,000 pursuit of perfection goes even further. 9. Jordan James Park. Jordan James Park spent more than $130,000 attempting to recreate Kim Kardashian's appearance. The 27-year-old from Birmingham, England, went through 4 rhinoplasties, surgery on his upper eyelids, a lifted upper lip, chin implants, and several rounds of liposuction, all motivated by a desire to mirror his idol. But the transformation came with a painful price. After 4 nose surgeries, Jordan struggles to breathe. His reshaped nasal passages barely work anymore. He now lives with what he calls lumpy lipo, a botched result that left his midsection uneven and misshapen. He appeared on the show, botched, pleading for help, asking surgeons to correct his breathing and repair the damage. The doctors turned him down, warning that any additional surgery could make the situation even more dangerous. To reconstruct his nose, they explained, he would need a portion of his rib removed. A piece of his rib taken out solely to reverse the harm done by earlier procedures. Despite the medical warnings and the long-term effects, Jordan remains devoted to his altered appearance. He proudly uses the nickname Lip King and shows no intention of slowing down. What makes his story especially alarming is his age. At only 27, he has already inflicted permanent harm on his body. Jordan's fixation on a celebrity ideal led him into choices that put his health at risk, and he still refuses to regret any of it. His journey stands as a clear warning. Idolizing fame can turn dangerous when it takes the form of physical transformation. Jordan's devotion pushed him to extremes, but the next person pushed cosmetic alteration even further, describing himself as a living piece of art. 8. Justin Jedlicka. Justin Jedlicka is not interested in blending in. Known around the world as the Human Ken doll, Justin has invested more than $1 million into over 1,000 cosmetic enhancements. He has reshaped himself into a human sculpture. It began with a fascination for body modification that quickly spiraled into obsession. From nose surgeries to custom-crafted implants, Justin chased a personal version of perfection with unwavering determination. His face has been entirely reshaped, numerous rhinoplasties, cheek implants, reductions to his jawline, lip procedures, implants engineered specifically for his own design concepts. The outcome is dramatic and unsettling. Justin resembles a mannequin more than a person. His features are rigid, sharply defined, and almost almost otherworldly, but Justin does not view any of this as a problem. He considers his appearance a form of artistic expression, calling himself a constantly evolving canvas. "I am known as one of the most extreme plastic surgery enthusiasts on the planet," he says with pride, "and I enjoy pushing the boundaries." His experience brings forward difficult questions about the nature of body modification. Where is the limit? When does self-expression begin to verge into self-harm? Justin finds beauty in what many view as a warning. He remains unbothered, confident, and committed to his vision regardless of criticism. Yet his face illustrates the danger clearly. Striving for absolute perfection can create something that no longer looks human. While Justin embraced his constructed appearance, the next Hollywood icon could not come to terms with aging at all. 7. Mickey Rooney. Mickey Rooney was Hollywood royalty. As one of the brightest stars of the golden age, his youthful spark carried films like Babes in Arms and The Black Stallion. His fresh-faced charm was as recognizable as his talent, but Rooney could not come to terms with growing older. In his later years, he turned to numerous cosmetic procedures in an effort to preserve the appearance he had long been known for. The results were anything but subtle. Rather than restoring youthfulness, the surgeries left him looking artificial. His once expressive features became stiff, almost frozen. The individuality in his face was replaced by a surface that looked unnaturally smooth. The repeated facelifts tightened his skin to the point of distortion. The very surgeries meant to counter sagging ended up removing the natural contours that give a face its humanity. By the time he reached the end of his life, Rooney barely resembled the star audiences adored. The boyish warmth had been surgically removed, leaving something that felt unsettling to look at. His transformation became a warning about the entertainment industry's relentless fixation on staying young. Even icons are not spared from the pressure. Mickey Rooney's story is heartbreaking because his skill never faded, but people struggled to see past what his appearance had become. He did not lose his gift. He lost the face that defined him. Rooney's struggle against aging cost him his signature look, but the next young actor's change came from an injury that led to a transformation no one saw coming. 6. Zac Efron. Zac Efron was America's golden boy. High School Musical launched him into global stardom. His balanced features, striking blue eyes, and effortless smile seemed practically engineered for the spotlight. Then his jaw changed, and the internet exploded. In 2013, Zac experienced a severe accident after slipping at home. He tore tendons in his jaw, which required reconstructive surgery and months of intense facial rehabilitation. What happened afterwards surprised everyone. His masseter muscles, the ones responsible for chewing, began expanding unusually during recovery and while training for his role in Iron Claw. By 2021, Zac's appearance shifted dramatically. His jawline, once proportionate, grew wide and pronounced. The soft youthfulness disappeared, replaced by an almost exaggerated angular shape. Fans were stunned. His own mother did not recognize him in photos. Rumors swirled online about implants, steroids, or heavy cosmetic intervention. Zac eventually clarified the situation, pointing to the accident and recovery as the cause. "The masseter just grew," he said. "They just got really, really big." Yet speculation persisted. Could physical therapy alone create such a drastic transformation? Or was there more involved? What is undeniable is the change. The Zac Efron the world once adored no longer looks the same. He carries his new appearance with confidence, which is admirable. But for many viewers, it feels as though someone else is wearing a familiar name. If Zac's transformation shocked his fans, wait until you see what happened to the action star whose entire career was built on his rugged, unmistakable face. 5. Sylvester Stallone. Sylvester Stallone shaped the definition of masculinity for an entire generation. Rocky and Rambo cemented him as the ultimate action figurehead. His rugged features, piercing stare, and distinctive speech became part of cinematic history. That face, marked by grit and authenticity, was central to his identity, but even legends fear being forgotten. By the 2000s, Stallone's appearance began altering noticeably. The lines and textures that gave him presence started fading, replaced with a tight, overly polished look. Medical professionals studying his changes noted extensive work, strong Botox that removed natural forehead movement, fillers that rounded his cheeks and lips, and what appeared to be multiple facelifts that tightened his jaw and neck. His once expressive face grew rigid. The natural imperfections that made him unique were smoothed into a kind of generic perfection. One of the most revealing signs was the shift in his iconic drooping eyelids caused by nerve damage at birth. Their reduced sag suggested eyelid surgery surgery intended to create a more alert expression. Stallone has acknowledged some procedures, explaining that he wanted to look better for modern high-definition cameras, but the scale of his transformation goes far beyond minor adjustments. The irony is painful. Rocky Balboa's entire story centered on authenticity, on embracing flaws and fighting through them, yet the man who portrayed him struggled to accept the marks of time on his own face. The fighter who taught the world to endure could not endure his own reflection. Stallone's fight against age changed the face audiences loved, but the next figure took things to a level that sent shockwaves through the entire music world. 4. The Bogdanov Twins, Igor and Grichka. Bogdanov were once striking French television figures. In the 1970s and 80s, the twin brothers hosted well-loved science programs, captivating viewers with their charm and striking appearance. Their perfectly matched features and enigmatic appeal made them recognizable personalities throughout Europe. Then they encountered cosmetic enhancement, and they simply did not stop. Across more than 30 years, the Bogdanov brothers went through an array of procedures that altered them beyond recognition. Their once handsome faces morphed into something nearly extraterrestrial, swollen, warped, and unsettling. Large chin implants created dramatically protruding jaws. Artificial cheeks pushed their cheekbones impossibly high. Their lips were inflated to exaggerated proportions. Their skin stretched tightly over the altered structures beneath. Most astonishing of all, they insisted they had never undergone cosmetic surgery, despite decades of photographic proof showing their transformation from attractive men into something wholly unfamiliar. The twins maintained that their faces were untouched. Medical professionals were stunned. Plastic surgeons reviewing their appearance identified nearly every procedure possible, including repeated facelifts, chin augmentation, cheek implants, lip enhancement, Botox, and fat grafting. The brothers became viral sensations for reasons they never intended. Online communities mocked their appearance, and surgeons used their images in lectures as warnings about extreme cosmetic alteration. What pushed them to such extremes remains uncertain. Some suspected body dysmorphia. Others believed they pursued a futuristic aesthetic inspired by their love of science fiction. Both twins passed away in 2022, only days apart due to complications from COVID-19. Their deaths closed the chapter on one of the most dramatic plastic surgery cautionary stories ever recorded. They did not just change their faces, they erased them. The Bogdanov twins' denial of their transformations remains bewildering, but our next celebrity made a name for himself by telling the truth without mercy until he could not confront his own reflection. 3. Simon Cowell. Simon Cowell built his empire on being brutally direct. As the famously blunt judge on American Idol and The X Factor, he became known for delivering truths people did not want to hear. But when it came to his own appearance, Simon avoided the truth entirely. Over time, his face underwent major changes. What started as Botox evolved into something far more dramatic. By the 2010s, Simon looked noticeably different. His once distinct features faded into a smooth, almost synthetic appearance. The natural lines in his face vanished, replaced by a tight, unmoving surface. Experts reviewing his transformation pointed to heavy Botox use, numerous fillers, likely facelifts, and possibly neck tightening and brow lifting. His once sharp jawline became masked beneath overly filled cheeks. His forehead, once capable of emotion, turned into a fixed, expressionless panel. Simon eventually admitted to getting some cosmetic help, but his admission only hinted at the extent of the changes. The irony is painful. The man who became famous for judging others became a living symbol of cosmetic overindulgence. In recent years, Simon has claimed to scale back his procedures, acknowledging he pushed things too far. But the effects remain. His face, while less altered than at its peak, will never fully return to its original character. He critiqued thousands, but the harshest critic in his life was always himself. Simon's changes were fueled by vanity, yet our next celebrity's transformation began with physical trauma that dismantled one of the most iconic faces in music history, too. Wayne Newton. Wayne Newton was the king of Las Vegas. For years, his velvety voice and classic good looks defined the Vegas stage. His dark hair, sculpted jaw, and radiant smile turned him into a symbol of American showmanship, but Wayne could not release his grip on youth. By the 1980s, Newton began pursuing extensive cosmetic enhancements. What started as small adjustments grew into one of the most dramatic appearances in entertainment history. His face hardened into a mask. Repeated facelifts tightened his skin to the point where expression disappeared. His features took on a glossy, unmoving look that left him appearing permanently wide-eyed. His eyes narrowed sharply, pulled back by intense brow lifting. His cheeks protruded with unmistakable implants. The most unsettling change was his skin. Stretched so tightly across his face, it looked almost transparent under the bright lights of the Vegas stage. Procedures meant to rejuvenate him instead pushed his appearance into the uncanny. Newton's transformation became so drastic that audiences struggled to recognize him. The friendly, familiar performer was replaced by someone who looked more like a crafted figure than a living person. Unlike others who later expressed remorse, Newton mostly avoided discussing the changes. He continued performing well into his 70s, his altered appearance becoming part of his myth as much as his music. His journey leaves behind a troubling question: when does the chase for eternal youth become its own form of captivity? Wayne Newton wanted to hold on to his younger self forever. Instead, he ended up suspended in time, quite literally. Newton's evolution stunned longtime fans, but nothing could prepare viewers for what happened to Hollywood's original rebel. 1. Mickey Rourke. Mickey Rourke was once Hollywood's brooding heartthrob. In the 1980s, roles in 912 Weeks and The Pope of Greenwich Village showcased his tough, magnetic charisma. His face, defined by sharp angles and raw sensuality, made him unforgettable. Then he abandoned acting to chase a boxing career. For 6 punishing years, Rourke stepped into the ring. He won bouts, but the damage was brutal. Broken nose, shattered cheekbones, a torn tongue, memory issues. His face, the asset that helped build his career, became a casualty of the sport. When he returned to film in the late 1990s, reconstructive surgery was unavoidable, but Mickey made a disastrous choice. He trusted the wrong doctor. The operations meant to repair his injuries only made things worse. Multiple facelifts, nose surgeries, and cheek rebuilds pushed him further and further from the man audiences once adored. By the 2000s, Mickey Rourke looked completely different. His formerly defined jawline and cheek structure had swollen and shifted. The natural curve along the side of his face disappeared, replaced with strange artificial angles. Even his trademark sideburns were lost to overzealous facelifts. Mickey has been brutally honest about his regret. "I went to the wrong guy to put my face back together," he admitted. But regret cannot rewrite decades of poorly executed procedures. His return in The Wrestler earned him wide praise. Yet the character, a broken fighter with a battered face, echoed his own tragic transformation. Mickey did not simply lose his good looks. He lost the face that once defined his stardom, and so the question lingers over Hollywood. If you could reverse just one of these transformations, which one would it be, and why? Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and join us for the next story, because in Hollywood, even beauty carries a cost, and that cost is always higher than it seems.